Hello, namaste, and a warm welcome to each one of you. Thank you for choosing to pause for yourself. This isn't a productivity session, this is more of an alignment activity. Because when we are aligned, our work becomes mindful. Let's take this next half an hour as our sacred reset button. You know, this reset button will help you align your karma in your workspace every week. And if you're thinking this alone workshop will bring about a substantial change, it's not a miracle. It is consistency. Every week, every week, and every week. You will have to repeat this at least for 12 weeks. Then it will subconsciously work. And then you will realize there's nothing that deters you or creates an impact which causes random emotional reactions. For that to happen, you'll have to take your mind to that level. And this workshop will help you attain that. Let's move. Now, beginning with the purpose. Have you ever ended your week feeling like you lived five different kind of lives between Monday and Friday? Tasks done, emails received, meetings attended, but something still feels incomplete, off balance. That's because your energy wasn't aligned. And this workshop is your safe space to bring it back. Now, bringing it back requires couple of efforts from your end. I request everyone listening this workshop to at least keep a notebook and a pen handy, because you will have to do it on a pen paper mode, some of the activities, in order to understand and mind map it for later use. So, let's begin for the karmic awakening. But before that, let's talk about the vision karmic awakening has been created with. At Karmic Awakening, we believe in the work of consciousness. Whether you are a corporate executive or a creative soul, you deserve to feel clear, connected, and conscious at work. This workshop is one of our many ways to bring that light to you. So, let's get onto our energies and run our horses. To begin with the activity, we'll have to do the grounding. That grounding is getting our focus and attention back to where we want it. And that is into this workshop. So, just start breathing. And there is a technique that we'll be following here. You'll breathe in 4. What does it mean? That means you'll inhale 1, then 2, 3, and 4. Till the count of 4, you'll inhale. Then you'll count till 4, then exhale till 6. And this will be repeated at least 5 times, so that we get the energy and the required amount of oxygen into our brains. So let's begin. I give 3 minutes of pause and music to guide you to do this activity on your own. And I would request you to note it down for you to begin your week with this activity, and that activity is pause and do the grounding of breathing. So this breathing begins, and you have the next 3 minutes to breathe. All right. Some interesting work begins now. This activity or the section is referred as the weekly hustle reflection. Was exactly this means is you will be closing your eyes, or in the second contrary, what you can do is keep your pen working and write what the week beginning from Monday was. So you'll be focusing on Monday. What was your first emotion when the week began? Even before going to the office, how were you feeling on Monday morning? I'm sure I exactly know the answers years back how I used to think. So, somewhere down the line, unless you are mindful of it, the kind of heavy energy that we have. So, recall what exactly the kind of energy that you have at that particular Monday morning, and dissociate those thoughts and emotions. We'll have another workshop someday where we'll talk about thoughts and emotions, but today what we'll be doing is focusing on just the emotions. And emotions, what is emotion? That we feel sad, or we feel like I do not want to go, is kind of a thought. But when it comes to emotion, it's more of reluctance, you know it's energy that says no. So what all kind of emotions you're feeling? Sad, you're feeling lost, you're feeling down. What all emotions you're feeling, you'll have to list them either in your head or on the paper. This activity requires you to write down the emotions or go through the emotions in your head, the kind of emotions you must have had. At times, initially, I also used to feel that I cannot recall what kind of emotions what I was having on Monday, if I was for suppose on Saturday. So what you're gonna do is the overall energy of the day, and how that energy influence your day at home. These two things are very different from each other but interconnected to it. So what you'll do is, like, for Monday, You'll do the same activity for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'll give you 5 minutes and 30 seconds for this activity, and then we'll move. What next we'll have to do? There's something exciting coming up. So just do this activity. Just a suggestion. Don't be a judge. You just have to witness what kind of emotions you were having. Don't be a judge that "Oh, I shouldn't have felt this or that." You don't have to do that. You just have to see yourself as a third person in that process. What does it mean? Just witness those emotions, nothing else. And just jot it down, or else keep them very clear in your head. Then we'll do the next. Buzzerang, I think time is up. I am sure everybody would have come up with certain emotions that they might have had in the week. Or if people say they couldn't recall or had a proper structure of as to how the week went by, then I can tell you one thing. Either they are doing some kind of a mindful activity that they are able to get out of those, past week, or they are living in an automated mode that their brain just sees what it needs to do, and that's it, and they have even not able to have that kind of a reflection within them regarding that whole week. And that is how many of us live. So we'll do some other session for them, but I would request you to continue doing this exercise. So the next is, now what we'll do is ask, did your week align with your priorities, or did it get hijacked? I'm sure people are able to understand what I'm trying to say here is, what mattered to you on Monday? What actually took up most of your energy? How would you have liked it to be different? These three questions, I repeat. First is about how what mattered to you on Monday. Second question is what actually took up most of your energy. And the third and the most important question is how different you would have liked it to be. So reflect on these three questions and then we'll get on. Just reflect, right? So ask yourself and write down. regarding it. Then we'll move on. And I'll give you 1.5 minutes for answering these. I am sure by the last session, last step that we did, this will become a little more easier and people will be able to write it down in 1.5 minutes. So do it, please. Now, this is my favorite part, which we are going to enter is emotional inventory, a reflection. First, you'll have to reflect on this question, and we'll have 30 seconds for this. What emotions ran your week? There is a tone set on Monday. I'm giving you a, just kind of a initiator, just to, it sets the tone for the entire week. Maybe something that made the entire week go by. It could be good, it could be bad. So, you just need to ask what emotion ran your week, and it could be a list of emotions. So, just list it out. What emotions ran your week? What were the prominent emotion that ran your week? Okay. Now the second part. Where did the resentment pile up? There comes a point where resentment starts to pile. So you have to understand which was the point or moment, maybe at point where your boundary was breached, or the minute it went by. So exactly we may not be able to recall. I'm sure most of us may not be, but overall we'll have the exact understanding of this would have been the case where it all happened, or where it all started. So just try and reflect on that for 30 seconds, and then we'll get on. Now the third question, and this is the interesting part of it, the outcome. Did you experience joy, calm, or restlessness because of the above two questions that we have answered? Just ask yourself, what did you exactly experience? Reflect on it. I'm sure if you have been consciously following this workshop, your mind has aligned itself to answer certain questions for you. And it will help you realize as to where you need to stand up and answer for yourself. The energy point has been touched. So I request what exact outcome you achieved. This is an achievement. People might say, what achievement do you mean by it? It exactly means what we have sowed is the kind of trigger point that we have had based on the above two questions that we have answered. The net result is the outcome that we have achieved here. So reflect on it and then we'll head on. Now ask yourself one question. You just have to ask yourself consciously. Can I accept that I all that all these I felt? Can I accept this? And then ask, is that okay? Just ask. Because this creates a space for the next space, which is self forgiveness. You know why I said creating space? Because unless you empty the filled cup or the heart, you won't be able to fill it in again. So, forgiveness can only begin when we have acknowledged above everything that we have answered till now. Now we need to ask something, or rather tell ourselves, I forgive myself for being overwhelmed, for being deterred, for being losing hope on ourselves. I forgive on not being faith. It's a lot debated thing that you should never lose hope. But what I believe here in Karmic Awakening, and I tell my team as well, that don't have hope, always have faith. Faith can move mountains. Hope, someday or the other, you'll tend to lose. But once you have faith, no matter what the situation or circumstances you are in, change is there to come and it has to have a positive outcome. It can only happen when we have faith and acceptance of the results that come to us. So forgive. Repeat with me 3 times. I forgive myself for being overwhelmed. I forgive myself for being overwhelmed. I forgive myself for being overwhelmed. I even forgive myself for missing the mark. At times we set bars for ourselves, right? So just repeat. I forgive myself for missing the mark. I completely forgive myself for missing the mark. I forgive myself for judging myself too harshly. We are at times too harsh on ourselves, judge ourselves, ridicule ourselves. So, this is for that. I forgive myself for judging myself too harshly. I forgive myself for judging myself too harshly. I forgive myself because I'm still learning. This is the best part. I forgive myself because I'm still learning. I forgive myself because I'm still learning. And this learning deserves grace. This learning deserves grace. This learning deserves grace. Feel that heavy energy that is being released out of you. How light you feel. And trust me, consciously, if this exercise has been performed till now, you will feel light. This has been tested by our team over multiple places and has had proper effects, and the impact is mesmerizing for us. So, feel that energy that you are feeling right now. In fact, do another activity, and this has to be mental. It's a mental game that we'll be playing now. Pause, realign the desk energy. See your desk, visualize your desk. If you are in your office, probably you can visualize it by keeping your eyes open and align the energy. Or rather, if you are at home, just close your eyes, see the desk where you sit or the cubicle, wherever you sit, and the kind of aligned and the energy that you see there, the grace, the sense of belonging, the positivity, the desk, your space, maybe your laptop, your mouse, everything radiates that kind of energy and the sense of belonging and radiance that you have been looking for in your workspace. Trust me, it will work. Just visualize that for next 30 seconds with the music. And then when you are done with it, we'll move to the second last part. Okay, just go ahead. Now, this might intrigue some of you is the spotlight, the spiritual spotlight that I talk about. It always talks about, that one difficult person at work. I'm sure everyone has that. They are not a They are actually not a punishment. They are at an energy different from ours. We need to understand that. Their frequency is different. Their energy puts up that kind of a test that we are not willing to give, right? So, when you begin seeing people as mirrors and lessons, you reduce reaction and begin responding with grace. Try and understand this. People mirror our own energies or even at times provide us with some wonderful lessons that help us transform in a certain manner, right? So, recall that person and let them go. Just don't hold. Whatever you have been holding, I'm not saying forget what all have happened in terms of the circumstances have been created, but the energy needs to go. With time, you will even forget what all happened. Somebody will have to be the big brother who will put their hands up and say, okay, I'm the one letting these things go. And I'm making myself move on in terms of my work, in terms of my energy, and in terms of all the things that have happened in the past. So just be that big brother. Just close your eyes. And if you want, keep your hand on your heart. It will help. Trust me. And tell yourself, I have decided to let that person go. I have decided to let that person go. I have decided to let that person go. I forgive for all the chaos he or she has created. I forgive for all the chaos they have created. I forgive them for all the chaos they have created. I forgive them, genuinely forgive them, and let them go from my intellect. I don't hold them in my mind. I let them go. Now, do that 4-4-6 technique of breathing and tell yourself, I set myself free. I set myself free. I set myself free. I am light. I am light. Now release what's not mine. I choose to release what's not mine. I choose to release what's not mine. I am filled with gratitude for people who gave me lessons. I'm filled with gratitude for people who gave me lessons. I'm filled with gratitude for people who gave me lessons. Now 30 seconds of silence. Just listen to the music and experience the silence and the energy that has lightened you. You feel so light. Trust me, if you follow this activity every week, at the end of every week, your Mondays will be light, and after 12 weeks, you'll realize the entire scenarios have changed. The way you approached, otherwise, the vicious cycle continues no matter where you go. After certain days, every company looks like a boredom sum. Everywhere you feel like, it's a task that I'll have to do. So, just follow this. 30 seconds of silence and then we'll move further. By now, if you have been listening, nothing more than gratitude that I have for you all. Thank you for giving yourself this time. If you are here, it means you are ready to bring conscious change, and that alone is enough. We thank our supporters, the team at Karmic Awakening, and you, especially you, the brave listener, choosing transformation. If your workspace could benefit from deeper realignment, reach out. Our live session go beyond the screen into the soul of your workspace. I guess this would have been live. It would have brought in more insights and a little more enlightening, because it becomes two ways at times. But having said that, it doesn't reduce the credibility of all the hard work that our team at Karmic Awakening has been doing and have brought substantial change to the life of many people. And with this, we believe here that this will also bring a change into your life. Do share your experiences, if performed regularly, how this brings transformations into your life. We deeply value all those, because the idea is to serve and bring about a change in the corporate spaces. We all here have had experiences of corporate, and that has aligned us to certain bigger purpose at Karmic Awakening. Thank you and have a great day and an absolutely wonderful week. Thank you.